Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another Load Partner project update. Got a couple things to show today, especially around shipment details. Got a lot of work done around there. Adding stop management, so you can like edit stops, move them around, reorder them. Adding carriers and shippers. We have notes added now. Everything's all mobile friendly. Yeah, I'll show that off. We added a bunch of different appointment like related time fields in there for stops and supporting all the things we need there. Um, Also some changes around trailer types and just there's a lot of like UI like nice little touches here and there we've added. So happy to walk you through it. Let me share my screen and we'll kind of click around. All right. So yeah, so we reworked the dashboard just a little bit, nothing extreme. Added a little greeting at the top and a couple cards that we're gonna fill out eventually for like what the dashboard looks like. One thing I will call out is that we added breadcrumbs now, so we actually can see like the section of the application that you're in. We also fixed the sidebar state so that the sidebar will actually stay open and closed as you're navigating through different pages, and change some of the styling a little bit for the active link. So instead of the little dot, we now have it like highlighting. No major updates on this page yet for the shipment list. I'll be working on this tomorrow. So next update should have this cleaned up with filters and everything as expected. Let's jump into a shipment though. So you can see our shipment details page has seen a lot of work. So a lot of things are actually functioning now. We have edits working for like the load number or shipment number. We've got a general section where we can adjust temperature. We can do temperature ranges. And then we also have trailer types. So we have both size and type in here. So that was split out since last week. Something like 53-foot reefer. And then weight and trip miles, obviously all in here. Still using our same toast in the bottom corner. I think I'm over it on my camera, so you can't quite see it, but we got a little toast in the corner when that goes through. We also have carrier working, so same thing. We have our carrier select. We're using that select box that we're using everywhere else. Let me just find one. So a little bit of tweaks to the carrier, to these select boxes, where now when you select one, if it's a single select, it'll just auto close that box. Just a little bit of UX tweak, make things a little bit nicer. We also have shippers, same deal. We have our multi-select, just like we had from the shipment creation page, pulled over now. And you can see on the multi-selects, it doesn't automatically close, just because it's expecting you're going to potentially want to select more than one thing. So again, kind of the UX fine-tuning happening there. And then we have stops. So this is one of the bigger sections we worked on this week. We now have our stop information inside of here. This is just a fake load, so we actually have incorrect stuff in here, just like 2 deliveries. But you can see we basically can, well, here we can actually see the information. We can edit it, which pulls it up here. I can tweak things. We have all of our fields. We have our facility, so we can pick the facilities, make changes there using our same one, our same select box everywhere else. We don't have appointment types in here yet, but we will have that. So like first come, first serve or things like that will be supported here soon. Our reordering works. This is the same thing we pulled in from the shipment create form, so it looks familiar as a previous update, but we can reorder things here. Everything just kind of like works. One thing I'll call out here that we did is we made the appointment times, like, so we've got appointment time, we've got ETA, arrived at, loaded at. These all actually appear as like the active stops. You'll notice that our delivery just has an appointment time, but if we fill in these fields for the stops as we need, so say it's loaded, say it's now left at, you'll see our fields for the next stop now populate. That way we just show, only the information you need. So we don't need to clutter the page any more than we already have to, because there's a lot of data on here. So again, just fine tuning things. And this all works, so we can save it and everything will save. You can see it's pickup 1, drop, and then all our information's in here. And now you can see we have our ETA fields and everything filled in. It shows not set on stop 2, but that's because it's the active stop, so none of those fields are there. Coming down here, we do have these stubs for financials, documents, tracking updates. There's nothing in there yet. We'll get to those soon. But But we did do notes, so we have notes now. So you can see at the bottom, no notes. I can add a note. This is a test note. Once I add the note, it shows up at the bottom with my user. And then I am also able to delete it. So a second test note 2. There it is. And I can delete it. So pretty simple. We're going to be improving the note system in the near future to allow like tagging other users, tagging other shipments, tagging things, we're setting reminders. We'll make that more of an interactive field in the future so that it's more useful than just like a plain note. But for now, we basically have the ability to now add notes to the system, which was the important milestone to hit. So another thing to note here is, no pun intended, is everything is mobile friendly. So we worked on this a little bit on a stream today. It mostly already was. We are going to do some tweaking, but everything works on mobile. So our location tracking isn't filled in yet, but here's our stops. You can see everything formats nicely into a single column now. Under notes, we can see our notes. And you can see, so general is down here. We'll probably move this card up in the future to make the ordering make a little bit more sense and maybe like collapse it so it can be expandable instead. But we have general, the carrier, all of this stuff works perfectly fine on mobile. Same exact functionality. Even with stops, if I go to edit, everything nicely stays in the single column. So there's obviously a lot of information here, so it's not the best thing to look at. But you know, if you're on a small screen, there's some trade-offs. So we have all the same functionality of ordering, deleting, deleting stops, setting your fields, and everything as you would on desktop. And there's our toast at the top. You can see on this screen now that my camera's not hiding it. So yeah, I want to show that off. That's all working. And you can see here's our breadcrumbs in the top, shipments, and then our shipment number. So I can click back into shipments, go back here because the breadcrumbs all work. All right, the next thing I want to show, going into create shipments, we added some new functionality to our select boxes. This isn't pulled into the shipment view page yet, but it will be. And we're also going to be adding this in other places as necessary. But basically inside of like when you're making a new shipment, a common theme is that you're going to need to add a new facility and a new location to go with that facility if it's a load you haven't run in the past. So normally, you know, you could just select it here, but if there's not one there, you're going to potentially have to go to the facility page and create one. So what we did is we created this kind of inline creation flow so we can actually go create new, create a facility, say Garrett's test facility. And then I can pick a location if I want to out of the list. Or I can actually go another layer deep and say, actually, none of the locations in the system match this facility yet. And I can go ahead and create a new facility, or a new location, I mean. So I can just say whatever, test street in Cincinnati, Ohio. This information isn't validated yet because we don't have our map system in place. That'll be coming soon as well. And then we'll have the map at the top of shipment details and like validations of addresses. And this will probably see another step where once you create a location, it's going to do kind of like what it does when you order something these days, where it says, hey, here's like the postal corrected address. Do you want to use this instead? We'll have a similar flow here. But so if I create this location, I'll just say Garrett's demo location. Actually, we'll add it in address line. Name is actually optional, so I can say Garrett's demo street. You'll see it automatically gets selected into our select box now. That's part of our resource select. That's new functionality we added this week. And so now I'm just creating a new test facility. These are very light objects right now. We don't have like hours of operation or anything in there yet. Once we get to facility management in a couple weeks, those fields will start showing up in here. But for now, just the basics, so just a name and a location. But so we create a new location. It's auto-selected. We're going to create this facility at that location. Boom, there it is. Auto-selected into our box, Garrett's test facility. And now I can continue on with creating my shipment with the new facility. I've never really had to leave the page. So, let's see. I think there's a couple other small things. We went over breadcrumbs, sidebar state, improved UX for the single select, and the create forms. We did remove the duplicate checkbox component, so a small tweak to the UX where in here we were using the wrong component for checkbox. It was like one of the scaffolding checkboxes, so we moved that to the shadcn component to make it the same one. We also did some other JavaScript tweaks throughout the week to clean up our standardization, make it a little bit more sane in there. And then let's see, went over note system. So backend stuff, we moved a lot of stuff out of the resource controllers into actions, more of the code side of things. And then we obviously added all those new time fields that I went over and split the trailers. I went over that as well. I think that's the bulk of it. I did also fix the bug we saw last week with the temperature range not showing checked correctly. That was an issue we were having. That's now corrected. This would show like darkened, but the check wouldn't be there. It was a little goofy, and it was a bug related to the max temperature field that we have since resolved. So that's all good now. But yeah, I think that about covers it for our update today. As always, you can check out our post on GitHub under the discussions for the full list. Make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter. You'll see information there. We just sent one out. We'll have another one coming out probably at the beginning of next quarter. Going to be trying to send those about quarterly. And obviously join us on Discord to have more conversation about this. Follow us on socials. And, make sure you tune into some of these live streams and see how some of this stuff is built real time. Last announcement to make, I guess, for this one is that we're going to be moving these update streams to bi-weekly. So instead of them doing them every single week, we're going to do them every other week. That way there's a little bit more content for them. Right now, they're obviously pretty short. Every single week is a bit much for a lot of times we're doing stuff in the back end, especially that is kind of not that flashy to show off in these. And since the people watching this are interested mostly, I think, in how does this TMS kind of shape up? What does it look like? How do I use it? That stuff is a little boring for these videos. So by moving to bi-weekly, we'll make sure we have more like tangible functionality to show off during the videos and be able to go a little bit more deep on those. So the next one won't be next week, but it'll be the week after. And we'll probably schedule events on like LinkedIn and everything for that to help people keep track of when we're actually doing them. So yeah, that's all we had for this one. So like I said, come join our Discord to chat more about this. Follow us on our socials, YouTube, everything like that if you want to stay the most up to date, and have a good rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in.